welcome to today's video lecture. In today's video lecture, I'll be solving previous year's NEET questions and discussing the answers. And it's for the chapter Animal Kingdom, and we are in part 7 of the series. So if you haven't checked out part 1 to 6, please do so. The links will be there in the description box below. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so question number 1. The simplest type of canal system in Porifera is, this appeared in the year 1992, A. Ascon type, B. Leucon type, C. Cycon type, and D. Radial type. Okay, so the simplest type of canal system in Porifera is A. Ascon type. Okay, so the answer is A. Okay, so Ascon is the simplest type of canal system in Porifera. So you can see this first diagram over here. This is the Ascon type. Okay, so you have these pores over here and water enters and gets filtered out. All right. Yeah, I think I've discussed also the canal system in the previous lecture, part 6. So please check that out. All right. I guess we can move on. This was a pretty direct question. Okay. Question number 2. An egg-laying mammal is, and this appeared again in the year 1992, A. Kangaroo, B. Platypus, C. Koala, and D. Whale. So egg-laying mammal is B. Platypus. Okay, answer is B. For the discussion, so it is an oviparous mammal. Okay, so you can see this diagram. If you're familiar with this diagram, it's there in NCERT. All right. This was again a direct question, pretty easy to answer, right? Okay, let's move on. Question number 3. Kidney of adult rabbit is, and this appeared in the year 1992, A. Pronephros, B. Metanephros, C. Mesonephros, and D. Opistonephros. Okay, so kidney of an adult rabbit is B. Metanephros. So the answer is B. Okay, it's metanephros. Please remember that. So as you move down the evolution line, you see how the kidneys have evolved from pronephros to mesonephros. And then what you see in adults, in mammals is metanephros. Okay, so since they said that it was an adult rabbit, so that's a mammal, and so it is metanephros. Okay, let's move on. Question number 4. Which one occurs in echinodermata? This appeared in the year 1991. A. Bilateral symmetry, B. Radial symmetry, C. Porous body, D. Soft skin. Okay, so which one occurs in echinodermata is B. Radial symmetry, right? Pretty easy. Answer B. Okay, so you see the diagram over here. They are taken from NCERT. You see how echinodermata have radial symmetry. Okay, they exhibit radial symmetry. All right, so again pretty direct. Yeah, let's move on. Question number 5. An insect regarded as greatest mechanical carrier of diseases is, this appeared in the year 1991, A. Pediculus, B. Cymex or Chymex, C. Musca or Musa, D. Xenopsylla. Okay, pretty complicated names. But we have to answer our question, right? Insect regarded as greatest mechanical carrier of diseases is C. Musca. Okay, answer is C. So Musca is actually a housefly. Okay, it's considered the greatest mechanical carrier of diseases. So it can carry pathogens from one place and then transport it to another place. Okay, so that's how they spread diseases. They spread the pathogens and then those pathogens cause diseases. All right, so housefly is the greatest mechanical carrier of diseases. Okay, let's move on. Question number 6. Metamorphosis of insects is regulated through hormone, and this appeared in the year 1991. A. Pheromone, B. Thyroxine, C. Ecdysone, and D. all of these. Okay, so in insects, metamorphosis carried by an hormone called ecdysone or ecdysone, whichever way you pronounce it. Answer is C. Okay. Okay, so metamorphosis happens in insects, right? The eggs, and then they form larvae, and then pupa, and then the adult form. Okay, so they are undergoing metamorphosis, all right, and it is carried out by ecdyson. Okay, in cockroaches, it is secreted by prothoracic glands. So if you studied cockroaches, you know cockroaches also undergo metamorphosis to finally form an adult, right? It undergoes continuous ecdysis, and that is carried out by this hormone ecdyson, right? But to answer a question, yeah, it was C. All right, let's move on. Question number 7. Classification of porifera is based on, this appeared in the year 1991, A. Branching, B. Spicule, C. Reproduction, and D. Symmetry. So porifera, classification of porifera is based on B. Spicules. Okay, answer is B. So it's based on the skeleton. Okay, so I've given a list from class 1 to class 3, all the names of the different classes and their examples and the description. Okay, so what are the skeleton made up of? Okay, if you want, you can note this down for your information. So but just remember, in porifera, the division of the classes is based on their skeleton. All right, okay, yes, we can move on. We will answer the question though. It's not A, C, or D. Okay. Question number 8. The excretory structures of flatworms or tania are, this appeared in the year 1991, A. Flame cells, B. Protonephridia, C. Malpighian tubules, and D. Green glands. Okay, so the excretory structure of flatworms is A. Flame cells. Okay, so the answer is A. Here, so you can see a structure of what a flame cell looks like, and there's excretory structures of tania. All right, it's not protonephridia. Protonephridia forms the main, it's like a term given to the main name for excretory structures, but they're further divided into flame cells. I think I've discussed this in one of the lectures before, and solenocytes. Okay, but to answer this question, flame cells are the excretory structures of tania, flatworm. Okay, well, let's go back to the question. I guess, yeah, we've answered this question. Let's move on. Question number 9. Bladder worm or cysticercus is the larval stage of, this appeared in the year 1991, A. Tapeworm, B. Roundworm, C. Pinworm, and D. Liver fluke. Okay, so bladder worm is the larval stage of A. Tapeworm. Okay, answer is A. Yep. So I have a diagram of the life cycle of Taenia soleum and Taenia saginata, which you will come to in some times. And then you will be able to see how this larva is formed. But I'm not going to the details of it now. All right. So, but just understand the bladder worm is the larva seen in tapeworms. Okay. Next question. Question number 10. Ecdysis is shedding off and disappeared there in 1990. A. Stratum corneum, B. Epidermis, C. Dermis, and D. Stratum malpighi. Okay, so ecdysis shedding off A. Stratum corneum. Answer is A. Okay, so for the discussion. So now ecdysis occurs in arthropods. It's clearly seen in arthropods, and it is the ecdysin, the hormone that is responsible for that. But in arthropods, for example, let's say cockroach, the cuticle part of it, the shedding of the cuticle happens in the case of arthropods. Okay, but ecdysis also is seen in snakes. Okay, where the scaly epidermis, that's the conified layer of cells, is shed off. Okay, so to answer that question that we have seen here, ecdysis shedding of stratum corneum would be the appropriate answer. It's not epidermis, it's not dermis, it's not stratum malpighi. Okay, so it's like the topmost layer which is shed off. Okay, so in the case of snakes, let's say the scaly epidermis is shed off. All right. Yeah, that answers our question. All right. Okay, let's move on. Okay, question number 11. Penguin occurs in, this appeared in the year 1990, A. Australia, B. Antarctica, C. Africa, and D. America. So penguin occurs in B. Antarctica. Okay, it's a bird that is seen there. So it is B. So it's a flightless bird and is found in Antarctica. Pretty direct, easy question, right? Okay, so we can move on. Question number 12. Kala azar and oriental sow are spread by A. housefly, B. bedbug, C. sandfly, and D. fruit fly. This appeared in the year 1990. So, Kala azar and another disease called oriental sow are spread by C. sandfly. Okay, answer is C. Okay, we discussed this in human health and diseases also. So this table is actually taken from there in one of my presentations there. So leishmaniasis is Kala azar and it is spread by the vector is sandfly. Okay, phlebotomys. All right. So if you were aware, if you had read that chapter properly, you would have known this answer, right? I guess we've answered it. It's not none of the other. It's not A, B, or D. Okay, let's move on. Question number 13. Malpighian tubules are A. excretory organs of insects, B. excretory organs of annelids, C. respiratory organs of insects, and D. respiratory organs of annelids. And this appeared in the year 1990. So, Malpighian tubules are excretory organs of insects. Okay, they're not respiratory organs of either of them. So, yeah, the excretory organs of insects. So, the answer is A. Yeah. We've also studied this extensively in cockroaches. Okay, the Malpighian tubules are responsible for that. Okay, they behave as excretory organs. Okay, this is also direct. Okay, let's move on. Question number 14. Taenia saginata differs from Taenia solium in, this appeared in the year 1990, A. absence of scolex hooks, B. absence of scolex hooks and uterine branching, C. absence of scolex hooks and presence of both male and female reproductive organs, and D. presence of scolex hooks. Okay, so Taenia saginata differs from Taenia solium in A. absence of scolex hooks. Okay, they don't have hooks. Okay, they have suckers, but they don't have hooks. They have uterine branching, they have reproductive organs. So that is incorrect. B, C, and D are incorrect. So the answer is A. Okay, so they contain 4 suckers and scolex, and rostellum and hooklets are absent. Okay, that's how they differ from Taenia solium. Okay, this is an important difference to remember. And yep, let's move on then. This was again direct. If you knew the difference between the two, this would have been easy to answer. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Question number 15. Oncosphere occurs in, it's appeared in the year 1990, A. ascaris, B. fasciola, C. taenia, and D. planaria. Okay, so oncosphere occurs in C. taenia, flatworm. Okay, answer is C. So if you look at the life cycle, again, it will be there in some time. You'll see from the embryo 4 occurs the oncosphere. Okay, where the hexacanth is developed inside, and then eventually it forms the cysticercus. That's a bladder worm. Okay, but yeah, to answer your question, oncosphere occurs in C. taenia. Okay, let's move on. Question number 16. Eutherians are characterized by, this appeared in the year 1989, A. hairy skin, B. True placentation, C. ovoviviparity, and D. glandular skin. Okay, so eutherians are characterized by B. True placentation. Okay, so it's B. That's for the discussion. So eutherians actually a subclass of mammalia. Okay, they're true placental mammals. That means they form a placenta and they give birth to their offsprings. Okay, and they have long gestation periods. Okay, so mammals as such are divided into eutherians, metatheria, and prototheria. Out of that, eutherian is considered the true placentation mammals. Okay, so that differs them from the other classes. So you go there, it's not hairy skin, ovoviviparity, or glandular skin, it's B, true placentation. Okay, all right. So let's move on. Question number 17. Which bone of birds is from? This appeared in the year 1989. A. Pelvic girdle, B. Skull, C. Hind limbs, and D. Pectoral girdle or clavicles. So, which bone of birds is from? D. Pectoral girdles or clavicles. Okay, answer is B. Okay, so it's actually the fusion of two clavicles in the midline. Okay, so this is the clavicle over here, this is the clavicle over here, this is the fusion. It's also called furcula. Okay, so if you see the word furcula, they're talking about wishbone. Okay, and it's the fusion of two clavicles. Okay. Yep, this is pretty direct. You have to know the skeleton of the bird to be able to answer this question, but just learn it as a fact. Okay, if they ever ask you this question. Okay, let's move on. Question number 18. Flight muscles of birds are attached to, and this appeared in the year 1989, A. Clavicle, B. Keel of sternum, C. Scapula, and D. Coracoid. So, flight muscles of birds are attached to keel of sternum. Okay, so the answer is B. Go to the discussion. So, the keel bone, there's a bone called the keel bone, it's also known as carina. It's the extension of the sternum and runs along the midline and extends outwards. So, if this was the body of the bird, okay, I'm just showing the body part. So, the sternum is here, it extends downwards, and this supports the wings. Okay, supports the feathers. Go back to the question. The flight muscles of birds are attached to what? Alright, so it extends downwards over here. Alright, so this is the keel of the skeleton. Alright, this again you have to understand the skeleton structure of the bird, which is not extensively discussed in NCRT. So this question, the previous question would be a little difficult to answer until you understand the skeleton structure of the birds. But anyway, learn it as a fact. Okay, it's not A, C, or D, it has to be B. All right, let's move on. Question number 19. A chordate character is, and this appeared in 1989, A. Gills, B. Spiracles, C. Postanal tail, and D. Chitinous skeleton. So, chordate character is C. Postanal tail. Answer is C. Okay. So, I've listed down the chordate characteristics. So, they have a notochord. The CNS is dorsal, hollow, and single. A pharynx is perforated with gill slits, not gills but the gill slits, and the heart is ventral, and post-anal tail is present. Okay, so post-anal tail is the very obvious option here. Okay, yeah, so the answer here is C. Okay, let's move on. Question number 20. Transfer of tenure to secondary host occurs as, it's appeared in the 1989, A. Oncosphere, B. Cysticercus, C. Morula, and D. Egg. So transfer of tenure to secondary host occurs as D. Egg. So the egg is what transfers to the secondary host in the tenure life cycle. So for this you need to understand the life cycle very well. So the answer here is D. Let's go to the discussion. Yeah, occurs as eggs. I think we have the life cycle of Taenia saginata here, and this is Taenia solium. Okay, so here you see Taenia saginata, the secondary host is cattle. Okay, let's say cow. Okay, over here. So now when the egg is released from man in feces or the gravid plogorid, this is ingested by the cattle. Okay, they graze on the grass and this is ingested by the cattle. Okay, and then inside the cattle, oncosphere hatches and penetrates the wall of intestine. It enters the circulation and then it finally enters the muscle where cysticercus is present there. Okay, the bladder worm, that's where the bladder worm is formed. Okay, it stays in the muscle. So when man consumes cattle that is infected with this cysticercus or the bladder worm or the Taenia saginata, that's when this bladder worm develops into an adult tapeworm, okay, in the man. But the question was, how is Taenia transferred to the secondary host? How does it enter? When eggs or gravid troglodytes are ingested. All right. Similarly, for solium, where pig, this is pork tapeworm, is is a secondary host, sorry, of the life in the life cycle, is the same life cycle. It's a similar thing. Only difference is that egg can be consumed by man, or this egg can be ingested by the pig. Okay, and there again, when it's ingested, follows the same thing. Oncosphere develops there, enters the circulation, the cysticercus bladder worm that forms in the muscles, and that is when undercooked pork or infected pork is consumed, raw pork is consumed, then that's where tapeworm is developed in man. Okay, it develops in an adult tapeworm and infects the man. All right, so I've taken these life cycles from a book called Medical Parasitology, but don't bother looking for it. This is just for your information. But if I go back to the question here, transfer of Taenia to secondary host occurs as what? And they haven't mentioned which Taenia, Solium or Saginata, so we'll just assume both, but both have similar life cycles. And so it enters the secondary host in the form of eggs. Okay. All right. Clear? Okay, let's move on then. Question number 21. Jellyfish belongs to class A. Hydrozoa, B. Scyphozoa, C. Anthozoa, and D. None of these. This appeared in 1989. So it belongs to the class Scyphozoa. Okay, answer is B. Let's go to the discussion. Scyphozoa, I have listed the three classes of Cnidaria coelenterata. Okay, if you want, you can note this down. But if you can see a class 2 Scyphozoa, examples are Aurelia and Rhizostoma, the jellyfish. All right, this is again factual based. Sorry, I haven't put these in italics. This should have been in italics. Sorry about that. They're all scientific names here, the biological names. But anyway, to answer your question, it is class 2, that's Scyphozoa. Okay. So again, direct question. All right, let's move on. Again, I think this should have been dead man's finger. Sorry about this. Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. Question number 22. Fish which can be used in biological control of mosquitoes or larvicidal fish is, this appeared in 1989, A. eel, B. carp, C. catfish, and D. gambusia. Okay, so fish which can be used in biological control of mosquitoes is D. gambusia. Okay, answer is D. All right, so here I put a diagram of what the gambusia fish looks like. There's male and there's female that feeds on the mosquito larvae and they used to control larvae. It's a larvicidal fish, so it feeds on the larvae. So it's a larvicidal fish, it kills the larvae. Okay, it's present in fresh waters. All right, I think we already also discussed this previously in human health and diseases. Okay, so it feeds on mosquito larvae. I guess to answer the question though. Yep. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video lecture and I hope you've enjoyed today's video lecture and I hope you've learned something new today. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to MJ NEET Biology, and I'm available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so you can follow me there for more updates, and I'll see you in the next video lecture. All right, so bye.